Shall we call this meeting to order? This is the 7 o'clock, Monday, the 9th of March. Select board for the Jamaica. The first thing we're going to do tonight is the organizational meeting, and then we'll have the regular meeting after the unregular organizational meeting. First, we should welcome our newest regular person. Jessica was recently elected and will now be sitting in that seat until she gets thoroughly fed up and runs. All right, first order of business is the selection of officers. I'll take this opportunity to nominate Andy for the president, chair. He did it he's been the vice chair for 4 years, so it seemed like that would be a good growth. Andy, do you want to accept that nomination?
Can I speak to it?
Sure.
I appreciate being nominated, and I'd like to tell you that I had expressed some interest in it, and think I'm qualified enough to do it. I've served on a nonprofit back a few years ago for about 12 years in the organization and the business part of it, chaired committees, was a representative for Vermont, for North America, blah, blah, blah. I went back and forth with it, and I think that for personal reasons, I think I'm going to take a pass on that, and I'd be glad to stay vice chair if I could.
I accept that. I know you got a
Thank you
backbone.
for asking me.
Yeah.
I'll make a motion to be Greg Nealman's the
Another nomination for Greg Nealman?
Yes.
Okay, so I see a lot of nodding faces, so do we need to get formal? All in favor of Greg Newman?
Melman.
One job I've got tonight. One job.
I'll second that motion.
All right, so thank you. Just to say that I really appreciate the years that you served. You helped me with this, and I'm getting. Go ahead, Paul. Shout and vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Oh, I'm suddenly
Somebody
opposed.
is.
Yeah. Sam, it was me.
Thank you all.
Welcome.
Good.
Is there a fire
Everything's
cover?
covered here.
All right, so Mr. Millman, which I mispronounced many times, but I hope I got it right.
Melman's.
Melman.
It's easy, like it's mayonnaise.
Melman's. I told you.
Having said that, your choice, sir. Would you like to continue the organizational meeting, or would you like me to just wrap that part of it up?
You could go ahead and wrap that part of it up.
Okay.
I mean, I think I've got some guidelines from previous meetings, but if you're,
Well, we're just gonna make some appointments and stuff, we can do that.
right, yep, and I'll chime in. I guess I'd like to start by nominating Andy to be the vice chair.
I'll second that.
I will second, I said that. All in favor? All in favor, say aye. We've got hands waving, so Andy, yes, please continue in the vice chair position.
Okay.
And I hope he serves you as well as he served me, because he did a good job keeping me, I'm sure, straight. With the exception, of course, the part that Tom took over to remind me to vote. But other than that,
Try.
you guys
Whip, I think that's called.
I'm gonna add that to our list. Okay, the next order of business is for the appointments. We don't have a select board secretary as such. We've been graced with thank God, for our town clerk who's been taking the minutes and acting for the most part like the secretary. And I think that's a really good, it's worked out really well for us. I hope it's okay with everybody. Is there anything we'd like to do that's different?
It's okay with you?
My choice.
There you go.
Yeah,
No, I don't.
But for this particular position, you do
No,
have.
I just want to make sure everybody understands
Yeah, that's fine.
the progress of the park. All right, so we've got a list of town appointments that have, let's talk about the one that's the most problematic right now. And this is the town health officer. It's down the list of ways, but let's talk about that for a second. I was in communication with the health department today about I'm currently working town health officer complaint. As of today, the chair of the board becomes the town health officer, the AU. And I talked to her about, can I continue to finish this project? And she said, after hemming and hawing, well, as long as it's clear what you did and when you did it, and then you can help him or her, because I totally could have been her, the new person, as long as I document exactly what I did, but I can't sign it as of 5 minutes ago. So if it's okay with you, I'll continue to be your assistant, not assistant, because I can't be your deputy without getting appointed by the state. And that's a 3-year gig. I'm only gonna be here for another year. But I can help you, as long as I'm clear about what's going on and that you are the signer of the paperwork.
Absolutely fine with me, I don't need help, I'm sure.
Yeah, well,
The select board is the Jamaica Board of Health. so-
exactly. The select board is
We
there.
all learn.
Yeah, anyhow, so if we decided to, we could do that, but I'm trying to get this thing worked as best I can. I hoped it would be finished by tonight, but it's not going to be. But just so a heads up on that, we do, for those of you in the viewing audience, we do need both a town health officer and a deputy health officer. They're appointed for, it's a 3-year gig, appointed by the state upon the recommendation of the town select board. That's how they can do it. And then, and it's awkward, but there's a class and there's paperwork and you just follow the checklist and let's face it, if I can do it, how hard can it be? Okay,
There's a stipend to
and
it.
there's a stipend for it, I heard. Have we seen it?
$350.
How much?
$350.
Oh, good, 350, I wonder when that stops. Wait a minute. Anyhow, but we could certainly use some help in a variety of areas. All right, continuing on with the organization.
And that doesn't need to be someone on the select board, correct?
Correct, does not need to be someone, you do not have to have any medical training, you just have to be a reasonable person.
Any Jamaica resident can volunteer for this position.
Exactly, yep. And both the deputy position and the health officer position are both open. All right, moving on. Next item, we have a fence viewer, it's a town appointment. Historically, we've appointed Steve Clark. His primary qualifications is he doesn't come to these meetings so we can say no. I think we've talked about it before, he's agreed to that. All right? You wanna go down these one at a time or do them all?
Sure, no, just go down.
We'll do them all, and then if there's a problem, we can make an exception.
Okay.
Animal control officer is Rob Willis. He is our constable, and he has said that he wants to continue doing that. Surveyors of wood, lumber, and the weigher of coal, that position is vacant, has been for a while. We don't survey coal too much anymore.
So we'll call.
Weigh coal. So it's not like it's a,
What is
Critical
the
need.
other position?
We usually just skip
Survey
it.
land, we just skip that one.
yeah. So we'll go ahead and move on from that one. The tree warden is Ben Williams. He told me he's interested in continuing. Health officer is now vacant. It belongs to the chair. By virtue of Vermont state law, it goes to the chair unless we appoint somebody. Unless we make a recommendation for the town to appoint them. The deputy health officer is also vacant, as we just talked about. We have cemetery sextons. We have East Jamaica, Jamaica Village, and South Wyndham cemeteries. Bruce Chapin has been on there, and it's my understanding he's not here to say no. So I think he wants to continue. He's been doing that for a while. West Jamaica, South Hill, and Pikes Falls, Karen Amadon. My understanding is she's still interested in that.
Yes, I talked about this.
Okay, good. Rossendale is Nelson Coleman.
That's correct.
Yep. Emergency Management Director has been me, unless somebody else would like to do it, I'm willing to continue that ongoing thing. Rescue Inc. rep is Stuart Barker. He represents the Select Board 2 Rescue Inc. and theoretically back and forth communication-wise. Energy Coordinators, I've got Tom Pollard.
Yeah.
You willing to continue that position?
Most definitely.
Okay. Flood Zone Administrator is Lou Brusso. He told me he's willing to continue in that position as well. Wyndham Regional Commissioner, Joe Blooming and Andy Coyne. Do we have any changes in that?
I think I might change committees, but
But that's within Wyndham Regional, right?
okay, I don't know how to.
Well,
to tell you that, or,
we appoint you to the commission and then you guys
right, I can't
assign.
make those meetings and then come here
Yeah.
after working.
Okay.
4 o'clock,
It does-
Brattleboro here,
That's
and I'm
fine.
on the same committee as the other commissioner when I
Okay.
get there.
So,
A mystery commission.
the mystery commissioner. So that's
Spread the wealth.
how, we, the town appoints you to Wyndham Regional and then you negotiate your committees with those.
Yes, I have one in mind.
Okay.
Take it up with them.
And Joel, are you still on? Yeah. Okay. Planning Commission and Zoning Board of Adjustments. We've got 2 opens. Christopher Robin is on, Brian Ziroff and Patrick McQuillan. I assume he still wants to be.
Yes.
Now you guys are on opposite Mondays, too. But Rebecca Ohm, who we will miss, we thank her very much for her service, and we talked about Jason Cass last time, two valuable members, but their schedules and their situation didn't work out. So we do have two openings.
I have somebody who is interested, but he just sent me his letter today, so
Okay.
I didn't put it on the table for tonight. I think that I will share this with everybody so we can review.
We can do it again.
He's got his letter of introduction and a brief background. He's been a second homeowner in town, and in the past year has been a full-time resident of the town.
Okay, so we can do that next session?
Yeah.
Okay, circulate that, we can make, because you guys are meeting every other Monday still? Chris? Yeah, by the way, I got a letter from you.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you for volunteering again. Clearly, we have not reached your level of absolute maxed out, we can't stand this anymore. Thank you for hanging in there. Okay, so we'll take this up next week, or next session. Okay,
We still need one more,
yep,
pending this one.
yes, doing public. Recreation Committee had Bob Johnson, Carolyn Pearsons, and Greg Mullins.
Melmans.
Hey, right
Why do
now,
I say that?
Caroline at the meeting said she was dropping out.
She did?
I
Yeah,
talked
she
to
did at
Bob
town meeting.
at luncheon, and he said he would continue. And I think we put Greg on there as a representative from the board. I was on it for many years, I'm not anymore.
Is that your understanding?
That is my understanding. I will remain there. I don't feel that I can probably
Well, I mean,
bring that group forward.
it's another situation where we need parents or grandparents with young children who want to volunteer and coach and help out with uniforms and so on and so forth. So without it, we're not going to have teams. Now, I was talking with someone from Townsend who was saying, well, maybe we could merge, all the towns could merge into one rec committee and kind of have one league and all this stuff. Because basketball and soccer pretty much do that anyway. It's really baseball that's different. I said, that's great, but it would take some coordination to contact all of the rec coordinators and then have this agreement of all these people coming together. So I don't know where that's going to go, but I've had that conversation. So.
Okay, well, let's get it out so people understand it's coming
Yeah,
up.
but it's a situation where if people aren't doing it, the kids are not going to have coaches and the ability to play these sports.
Yeah, it'd be a shame.
It would be a shame.
Because things are kind of quiet around here, it'd be nice to have something for the kids to do that's constructive. Village beautification, I have Karen Amadon, Joe Dumas, and Alexa Clark. Yes? Yes, I read that as yes. Do we know about Karen? Yes. How about Joe? Do we know?
Yes.
I see her head nodded, so apparently we're going to leave that alone. Have we heard anything to the contrary on anyone? So we'll leave that alone unless we hear otherwise. Fire warden is Stuart Barker. I understand he's continuing that. Assistant fire warden, we do not have one. Do you know anybody in the department? It was Joel Beckwith, but we haven't.
It's Bob. I am already.
Oh, you're already the assistant?
Yes, yeah.
Where did you miss?
Thanks, Phil.
Somebody see you paying attention around here. Thank God this is my last kid. Sorry, Bob, I didn't have you on my
I've
list.
been deputy since June.
Since June? Where were we gone?
Yeah. Who treated you?
I now remember it. I didn't have it on my list. Sorry about that. The 911 coordinator we have is Erica Bowman. Do we know? I think that she's inclined to stay with it.
Yeah.
I haven't heard anything different. Senior Solutions, Janine Stone. WSWMD, Wyndham Solid Waste Management District. Did you see I could do that without having to look at it? No, I know I've been too long. That's Greg. Are you still interested in that, Greg?
Sure.
Because you're also kind of honchoing the transfer station too.
That kind of, I think those kind of went hand in hand.
They seem to, yeah.
Looking for an assistant though, if somebody wants to. I mean, as of now, it's only really for filling in if, if I can't make something or anything like that, so.
Well, it's a good idea to have two people in case something happens, you know.
I'll step down as assistant if Jessica wants to she should have an appointment.
I'll accept.
Assistant to what?
Assistant
To
to the
the
transfer station.
Transfer station.
Oh.
Wyndham Solid Waste.
No,
Sure.
I'll transfer that over to her. She can jump into the Friday.
So the transfer station assistant. is Jessica.
And I can put that down, I mean, there's no real work involved, but just from an educational standpoint, I'll put you as the assistant for the Wyndham Solid Waste Management.
Yeah, both.
As a
Right, it makes
representative,
sense.
and if I can't attend
Yeah.
a meeting or something, you'll get all the announcements and whatnot.
Okay,
This,
perfect.
this also has the advantage of you getting really close understanding what's going on there, because that's the one that's caused us the most grief and will be giving us more grief
Yeah.
with the changing in
July.
the policy.
Regs, yeah.
Yeah, so that would be good to have. Very good.
Thanks.
We also have the newspaper of record. We've used the Brattleboro Reformer. Anybody interested in making a change to that?
No,
No? All right.
I'm not.
So, are we all happy with the?
What about town hall? Town hall?
Oh, it's not on this, let's talk about that for a second. There
I
are
like to
some,
do that, Judy was doing that, I'd
Yep.
like to take that over.
okay, so we'll put town hall.
And what about police liaison, because I'm willing to give that up. I don't do a whole lot with the police department in common. So I know these were positions that were in this list.
They're not in this list.
But then
This is
your
the one I
list-
have
There's
last
another
one
one
this year.
too.
Hmm?
There might be another one I'll bring up in a minute.
Okay.
Do you have on your list?
It's not an old
Robert,
list.
it wasn't on last year's list, but I know we talked about it, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, town hall.
These may be kind of things we do sort of.
Yeah,
that's when it's formal.
Judy was doing the town hall, so
Yeah.
I would like to take that.
Okay.
Because I'm involved in that with the arts council and such. That
Do you want me to take the police liaison?
Well, I take it if Jessica doesn't want
Yeah, that's either,
Okay,
I don't want to.
if you want
it.
it.
He asked me before, but if you want.
That's fine, no, I didn't realize you were volunteering. My hand goes down, yours goes up.
Thank you.
And
I've always wanted to do that.
Oh,
Yes.
please, please.
I went over, got the tour.
I've never done it
next day.
before.
I went over, got the tour.
Well, I toured that
Yeah,
police
with the
station.
old jail
before.
cell.
Please.
When we were kids.
there's another one that's not on here that I did notice, and that is historically, we've had a member of the select board be a liaison with the town office, with the town clerk and the treasurer.
That's the one I was gonna bring up.
Oh, that's one, why, bring it up.
Last
Bring it up.
year, I brought that up and we never really, who did that?
I did it. You know, it's been me primarily because I'm here more often than most. Hopefully that'll change, but it's just somebody who knows what's going on and is available to them easily. They can get a hold of me pretty quickly because I'm usually here. I'm obviously winding down, but I'm still available if that's something that the board wants to continue with.
If you're gonna be here most of the time still.
Well, I still got the emergency management director thing, I still got
Yeah.
the piece of the town thing, and I still got 2 or 3 other things.
Kick it down the can, kick the can down the road.
Right, right there.
Sure.
No one else wants to do that?
What's that?
No one else wants to do
I'm
it?
not around enough to do it.
The tricky part is just being here, you know?
I was also gonna say it's probably more just to have a contact and not necessarily that you're here every minute. I mean,
No.
you can certainly wind down and,
Exactly,
You
and
guys
and
can
I've
get
got a
work
pretty
done
good sense
without
of what's going on here, only because I've been upstairs over it. Plus, I've been bribing them with chocolate for the last year.
It's not working.
It doesn't seem to be, I'm trying. Okay.
well, as the chair, I'll say that maybe you and I can work on making sure that it's
Okay.
smooth operation.
That's a great idea. They like you better than me anyway, so they'll be happy. All right, anything else that I've overlooked that we need to think about? I think that's, for an outfit that's as tightly organized as we are. So all in favor of these appointments going forward, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Then these will stand as
Is
they
it
are.
unanimous? I guess as a chair, I'd also like to say that we record our votes. I mean, that's something that's in the, since we're kind of segueing into my portion of the meeting.
Yes, we certainly are.
That we record the vote, not who voted for what, but how many voted affirmative and
Okay.
just 3 to 1 of,
Can I write all in favor? Is
all
that
in
okay?
favor is fine. Yes, yes, yes.
Now, the rest of this package, do you want to give it to you, or just want to point to me and have me do things?
Either way.
It's up to you,
Is
sir.
there more than what's on the agenda?
It's all yours now.
There is now.
Well, I'd like to call the next part of the meeting together.
Well, first thing would be the late agenda, I'd like to do that from my seat. I put these in order of their appearance on here.
Perfect.
So this is the first, the next thing is the minutes, after we do the agenda.
Okay. Thank you.
Any additions to the agenda, I've got it. You got that?
Thanks, Paul.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Just keep doing this, thank you. No, aren't you relieved you don't have to remind me?
I'm get on great.
Okay.
Okay, I will call the regular portion of the meeting together at 7:18 and ask if there's any additions to the agenda.
I have something.
Paul?
Yes, since I produced the agenda, we've had 3 excess weight permits have come in. So I've given them to you, so we now have a total of 5.
Okay. So
Down item number 5. And there was a question about the MOU for the mill building project, so I added that as a discussion item.
okay. Okay, I'm sorry. Oh, yes. Oh, one more to add. Yes, the broadband, update on the broadband survey. Chris. Okay, then we have a few others. I will entertain a motion to approve the minutes of the February 24th select board meeting.
So moved.
Did I give you my copy? I did.
You did?
Is there any red marks on there?
There is. I'll hand it back. Then I guess, is there a second? In order to open it up for discussion, correct? Is that how we do it?
Oh, yeah, there's one, I have an amendment.
Any second?
Second.
Second, Andy seconds. And Paul, you had,
Right. On page 2, number 4, number 9, we said that the new draft has been sent disregarding hazard mitigation plan. The new draft has been sent out by email, and the select board has until March 16 for amendments. It should be March 16 for comments. We can't put in amendments, but we can put in comments. And then it goes to the public.
okay, and I did have one also. Under the discussion of the new Casella interim contract, which is also later on in the agenda, but last week it was brought to our attention that, and I would propose scratching the first line, which says the Casella contract pricing has been extended until June, and replace that with Casella has terminated our agreement with the town and is proposing a new rate schedule for hauling of solid waste. And then would continue, the prices have increased since Casella bought out TAM, and we're reviewing a bridge, temporary contract for March 1st through June 1st, so as the rest of the minutes state. So just replacing that first sentence. Kind of I rambled a little bit, sorry.
Say that first.
So we've replaced the first sentence with Casella has terminated the agreement with the town and has proposed a new rate schedule for hauling of solid waste, beginning March 1st.
A new rate. A new
Rate schedule?
schedule.
Okay.
Anything else? Any other? New motion to,
I'm going to accept February 24th select board meeting minutes with changes made.
Second.
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, perfect. And as done before, we will move the sign off of all the paperwork, whatnots, to the end of the meeting, the boring part. People want to stick around, they certainly can. So we're on to number 5, review and approve now the total of 5 excess weight permits. We have one here. I guess this is the first time I'm seeing them, so I'm gonna just double check. I think they all have their checks with them. I'm gonna assume that portion. First one's Allen Brothers Oil. And there is a check. The next one is from New England Quality Service. I'm not sure who that is. I do not see a check on there.
There's a receipt on the top.
Okay, yeah. Perfect. Next one is for Colton Enterprises, also with a receipt. Next one is for Gurney Brothers Construction with a receipt of payment. And we have Dead River Company, receipt of payment, and that's the rest of them for later. Those are 5. Motion to accept those overweight permits?
And yeah, I make a motion, we give those to the Road Commissioner.
And second? Tom seconds. All in favor of handing these over?
I just have a question.
Sure.
How come some of the fees are $5 and some are 10?
Because
It's
some are
all
fleets
road.
and some's just a single vehicle.
It's $10 for a fleet?
Yes.
Okay.
If you just, am I still the road commissioner?
Doesn't matter. Would you like to pass out?
If you just put them over by Sarah.
We didn't have that.
You didn't vote that in?
That wasn't on the list,
No,
no.
it wasn't on the list, we should fix that.
That's up to?
It's every year.
Yeah,
I didn't even realize it was every year.
and it was
It's
not on my
not a
list.
lifetime job.
No,
I would make a motion that we appoint her for life, that we reappoint us.
Why don't we,
Hold it,
hold on a second.
Oh, we
Can't
still
do
Why
do
don't we
that.
finish the vote?
Thought we were through that one already.
okay, good. It has been seconded. Andy had a question. Any other comments? All in favor of approving the 5 overweight purpose?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you for Tom for keeping me in order.
Just trying.
Keeping this.
I
Okay,
have no authority. I just-
so do we want to circle back to the road commissioner or put that as another agenda item later in the?
Can we add it after we've already asked for additions, or?
I would say sure.
Of course we can.
It was missed in the first part of it. I mean, it was supposed to be.
We'll call that,
It's like an oversight then.
Oversight.
So it's not a real agenda item, and not an addition.
No, it's part of the previous organizational meeting, and I apologize for not putting it on there. I sort of think of Lex as a perennial asset to the town, and think of her as just being here forever.
Well, I'll make a motion to make Alexa Clark the highway commissioner for one more, for this year.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? Are you still interested?
Yes.
When are you gonna plan to retire at one of these days?
One of these days.
Okay, sounds great.
All right.
This keeps me young.
No one else wants to do it?
Any other, no?
Oh, that's what I should say, it's somebody else.
All in favor of Lexa for another one-year term as highway commissioner?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, now back on to the regular, now, Lexa again, I guess, discuss the improvements on Under the Mountain Road.
Okay, at the last, I think it was one of the last meetings, Jared, Lyndall, and Willoughby Britton applied for update of, not an update, but to renew, to fix the trail number 8 near the Under the Mountain Road. And I sent you a copy of the agreement that they had signed, and then a question came up, which I sent to our attorney. He in turn sent it to their attorney, and the homeowners, or the landowners, to add a paragraph, which I emailed to everybody. Did everybody get a chance to read that last paragraph? It was very important to have that in there. Thank you, Jessica, for bringing that up.
If it was sold?
If it's gonna be sold, right, so that that agreement continues on, otherwise it sort of just stops.
Oh, leaves the town open to risk that we would become obligated to maintain the road in this way.
Great,
It
that
closes the
paragraph's on the
gap.
back of the little package.
Yeah.
So, the contract's there, and then the extra
Yeah, I
paragraph.
have the contract.
Yeah, right,
And then I
right,
have
there it
a
is.
contract for you to sign if you so wish to. These folks would like to get
And so we
going
would be signing it on our behalf with this.
with this. Yeah, I have it
paragraph
here.
Pending.
I have a new one, yes.
That they would then sign.
Yep. And I've also talked with Keith, he couldn't be here tonight. He has spoken with the Londonderry Road Foreman and Road Commissioner. And they will be, all three of them will be working with Wesley Amadon, who's doing the construction, if any questions come up, so that both towns will be working together, the proper folks. So I don't see any reason not to approve it. I think it's cut and dry, really.
Makes sense to me. Paul, question?
It is, it's our understanding that this is at no cost to the
It's
town.
no
of Jamaica
cost to
at all.
the town at all, no.
It makes sense to me. And they seem to be working within the guidelines and whatnot, and it's a great, I've met them independently at the meeting.
Yeah, one question came out we had about when Wesley's proposal, the culverts. And I talked to Keith about it, and it has to be 18-inch culverts, not 12 or 16. And I've already told the folks that bought the property that that's what it had to be, so they were in turn going to talk to Wesley. And so everything's moving forward, and they're very adaptable to what we want and what Londonderry wants, I believe. So,
Super, thank you.
you're welcome.
Any motion to accept the contract?
Make a motion to accept the contract.
All in favor?
Hi.
Any opposed? Thanks.
Then I can, you sign
So I'll sign off on that
I can
one,
sign that one.
and then you'll take it with you, or we have to do it there?
This is, I'll get it tomorrow.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
You can leave it on my desk. Thank you.
Okay. Next item on the list is to review and discuss the new temporary contract with Casella. So that's me. As from the last meeting, Casella had sent us the termination of our contract. They're continuing to haul our waste, but basically they were increasing their fees. And our contract with them expired June 1st. We had discussed getting a temporary contract to run from March 1st through, I guess, May 31st. With these new fees, and in that time period, we would then put it out to bid to line up with the renewal date of June 1st. So I had floated this out to everybody. They had made the one change, so it actually does list the town of Jamaica now as the customer. It seems to me that it's pretty boilerplate as far as this type of contract goes. It's very similar to what we had before, other than the new rate structure. Any other motion to accept the contract?
Make a motion to accept the contract.
Second?
I'll second that.
Any further discussion or feedback or anything, comments?
It's just interim until we can get,
Interim.
you know, an RFP out and back.
And it's pretty much, I mean, they're gonna continue
Yeah,
doing what they've been doing and
not a lot of choices.
just bumping the fees up. So we will put this out to bid within the next couple months.
And will they be one of the ones we put it out to, or is that what they want to do with the parity?
Who
No, I think they would be one of the ones we put it
We're
out.
gonna shotgun it out.
writes that? Terry would write the RFP?
Yes.
To clarify.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think she's done it in the past and definitely
She has
has
it in the past.
Yeah, she has.
a few of them.
Fine.
Okay, all in favor of accepting the contract? Did we get to that point yet?
See, you thought it was me, it's the job that makes your brain turn to jello.
We got a vote?
I know, that's what I said, all in favor. I asked if we
Oh,
got,
I'm in favor.
yeah, all in favor
Aye.
of accepting this temporary contract.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. I will get back to them. Next was discuss new computers for the town clerk and treasurer.
So I've been working, I was working on trying to upgrade the computers from Windows 7 to Windows 10. Ran into some issues with encrypted hard drives, which I could not figure out. So the idea was floated that we just get, and since these are older computers, that we get brand new computers for the treasurer and the town clerk, of which I said, okay, we still have the listers computers, and we still have Lex, and she left. I was gonna ask her if she has a computer in the back too.
She's going, she does the bookkeeping with, but it's, I don't know if it's linked into all the other, is it, do you know what it's
We
linked
don't
into?
know, I can call her. So in any case, I called up Dell Computer and they gave me the name of our local government rep for computer sales and such, and he got me a quote. We can get the computers for $646.36 a piece. So we could do the math if you wanted to, if we wanted to get 4, if we wanted to get 2, the price is the same. We could whatever you guys want to do. I also priced out monitors. I wasn't certain if the monitors were decent. They seem to be okay, at least for those two computers. Monitors are $83.29. So if we were to get the two computers, it would be a total of $1,459.30. Obviously, if we would go with 4 and replace the 2 Lister machines that are older, it would be double that. So it comes out, I don't know why I have to do the math real quick, but it was 39 something. It had been said that there was funds in the in capital for technology.
I think there is an.
This is an easy.
supply
I
fund.
mean, this is it's sort of an easy solution. This will come with Windows and such. Now, what I still need, when I'm still researching and I'm still trying to get a hold of someone at Microsoft, is converting over to Office 365. I contacted them. They were going to send someone my way. They never did. Then they got back with me and said, "Oh, did anyone ever call you?" And I said, "No." So then they said they were going to get them, and I haven't had time to get back with them and say, "Hey, I really just need a governmental price on Office 365, and then figure out who would get that." I'm assuming it would just be the 2 or maybe 3 licenses, and that's usually, I think it's about $5 a month per user. So,
So do we know if the listers need new computers?
It didn't sound like it from my conversations with them. It sounded like the treasurer and the town clerk.
So this would just be 2 new computers?
Yeah, because they're on all the time.
Right. I would
that is
definitely,
the other piece.
I would
yeah.
think that way too, that the listers don't need to have 3 computers for
Okay.
one person that's in the office. So.
I would agree with that. Lou has a newer computer.
Yeah.
I mean, if they're in once a week,
Right. Windows 10,
I don't think so. So I'd have to take a look at
so
that.
that's a security risk.
It is a security risk, yes. So I have to look at those and see what they are. I have not looked at the listers machines. Like I say, we were trying to work on some. I took a machine home. It's sitting in my dining room, and I worked on it. And it's Dell, encrypted by Dell at the factory, and I couldn't find anything that's encrypted. Like, where's the key to unencrypt it? And it's not around. So
Since we don't save any money, we can certainly take the first action, which is to replace the critical ones that are where I know firsthand, right?
And-
They're struggling daily, and then we can entertain a separate motion with respect to the remaining.
I'm potentially taking those computers, if I could wipe them out and load Windows 10 from scratch, and then
Just kill
put those
the
on, because
hard drive.
if they're only using it again 1 day a week, they're not gonna be,
Right.
Just put a new hard drive in.
that's possible. So there are cheaper solutions, but I support getting 2 new computers for the lister, and not for the lister, for the town clerk and for the treasurer.
You might need to upgrade the video card, and that's usually the
And
obstacle.
those other ones, you mean?
With Windows 10, that's usually the obstacle.
It could be, yeah. I don't know, again, they say these machines are 10 years old or 9 years old, I'm not, I have to assess.
They probably do not have an adequate video card to run Windows 10.
So I'll take that as Tom made a motion to.
So I'm making,
replace those two.
making a motion to purchase 2 computers from Dell for the town clerk and the treasurer.
And
For the amount of,
associated software?
and yes, well, that's gonna have to be separate.
Okay.
But I
So for the
will, if you want
hardware
to
now.
approve that, I think we can approve that. I don't have a dollar amount again on the Office 365 yet. But the total amount for the 2 computers combined is $1,459.30.
I'll second that motion.
Oh, second.
And I mean, it'll probably take, oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, any further discussion?
Yeah, this probably will take a few weeks to get in, and in that time I can look at the Office 365 and figure out, and that's just a subscription, you can sign up online.
Yes.
So if at the next meeting, we can decide to do that, and then it'll go fairly quickly.
Can I just say that to the public, that this is Tom's thing, this is what he does.
And thank you for your personal time
I do
to
all
do
this stuff.
We
this.
didn't just ask him to look into
Hey, figure
this,
it out.
because
No, I
he
do
knows
some
what
of
he
this
knows
stuff.
about computers.
I do something.
Right. Thank you.
And thank you for taking the time.
Yes, very much.
All in favor of replacing those 2 computers?
Aye.
Any opposed? No.
So do I contact Terry with this quote, and then she can coordinate getting PO? Or
Yeah.
I will do that.
Yeah, 'cause she's gonna have to work the pay orders and that sort of stuff out.
Yeah. Okay.
Good, thanks for that research.
Yep.
Okay, number 9, discuss the possible community email lists and possible upgrade to our WordPress program, which
So
is the software that we run.
This is my line item as well. It's tool facet. I'm gonna start with the WordPress. We're way behind on our WordPress version. Every time I go into to make changes on the server. It says you should be upgrading, version 5.4.5.7 or whatnot. I don't know, we're at least 2 or 3 versions behind. Most of the plugins in the system do not work anymore because they're also behind. So I was gonna take a stab at it, but I just wanted to get the select board's blessing before I go in and click upgrade. What it does, it takes it'll take the site offline for a little while. It should upgrade everything, and then in theory, it's gonna come back up, and the site will look the same, we hope, if nothing breaks. I mean, that's always the risk. So, also, the interface to do stuff is probably gonna look different as well. And I don't know I don't know what that means, but I'm assuming that it will look different because we're moving up a couple of versions. So, I was gonna do that in the coming weeks. I was gonna say this weekend, but I have plans this weekend. But I can do it, and we can see what happens. I'm sure there's a possibility to roll it back.
Right, so there's certain things that are on the website, while not purely legal per se, they do satisfy requirements that we have. Is there any way, not to have a redundant site, but is there a way to do the upgrade? You know what I'm talking about.
No,
where-
there's not that
There's
I know
not.
of. I don't know, well, I mean, and when we're talking downtime, we're talking an hour or so. I mean, they say what happens
It's
is it
not
goes into
that,
maintenance
it's if there's a
mode.
crash. and
Well, if
then-
there's
Right,
what I can do is do a little more research, see if there's a way to back it up, make sure that there's a way to back out the upgrade if we need to. I mean, I'm not gonna just go in and click a button and say, let's see what happens.
that's
Although I have done that.
hoping to avoid, right. If you don't mind doing that,
I
that would
will
be
try to do as
wonderful.
much due diligence,
Right.
and then what I can do is report back to the board in 2 weeks of what I discussed.
Okay.
But clearly it does need to be upgraded, I mean, that's a.
It's-
Yeah,
It's
and
a
it's
non-starter.
very
And
important
again,
piece of our communication.
Yeah.
I was trying to reload some software and it's like you're not on a version that allows this plugin, so basically we're stuck in time. The second thing I wanted to discuss,
Before you
Oh,
go
I
on,
know one thing,
could you please, for the people who don't know what you're talking about, explain what WordPress is?
WordPress is an online system that allows you to build web pages, and that is the system that the town uses. So there's other ones, Wix is another one, and there's another one. But WordPress is one of the older first ones that allows you to basically, it's just a cloud-based page which allows people to go in and customize a web page. So
Pretty
I'm
well
not certain
established
who
and simple to use.
Yeah, I'm not
A lot
sure
of
who
people use it.
originally built the website, but I'm assuming someone went in and originally built it. And I go in and maintain it to some degree, and I know that Sarah does as well, goes in and posts things. I try to get the videos up at town meeting. I got town meeting video up there. I've got I try to get the select board meetings up there. And if other people ask me to do things, Lou has asked me, Chris has asked me to put things on. But the whole structure of it hasn't really changed since I've been on the select board, and that's, it's just-
So, my question then, this is the town's webpage.
That is correct.
Can we make it clear that
JamaicaVermont.org.
we do not have an official Facebook page at all?
It's not Facebook, this is a web page.
Webpage, so
So this is
just make it clear because this is the only official one we have. The rest of the stuff are.
Warnings,
Right,
like I say, information about the town, there's a calendar on there,
Yeah.
there's, posts of events that are happening, minutes of meetings, so on and so forth, agendas of meetings, all that comes off the website.
Excellent, very good.
Okay, the second thing I want to talk about is the email list. So at the town meeting, a number of people said, hey, Jamaica used to have an email list, we really liked getting all of this information, and how can we facilitate that? And I originally started looking at it at the WordPress, but I'm talking to my girlfriend, Jackie Brown, who lives in town here, and she had shown some interest in potentially starting up a newsletter and using more of a marketing tool like MailChimp or something like that. The town could basically what I would work with her, she would be the marketing pro and I would help her a little bit with the technology. But basically our idea is that we would then contact the leaders of community organizations. We'd come up with a name, nothing's set in stone if it's Jamaica Community Mail or Jamaica whatever, community events. We contact different organizations in town and have them, send us emails, send us events that are happening. The town could use it if they wanted to send us events. We could potentially eventually open it up to business. But then every month, or every week, I don't know, we haven't, again, all this is very much up in the air, we haven't really discussed the details. We could go through, and there'd be an email that would be sent out to all these people with all these events. If you go to the Winhall Library, they have a very good, the person who does that has an email that they send out with all the events from the Winhall Library. And we're kind of looking at some design like that. And this is her brainchild, and I'm again helping with some of the technology on it. But so we're trying to start that up. It wouldn't be necessarily related to the town.
That's what I was thinking, I mean, it doesn't
No,
have to be, and in
but
some
we-
ways
but-
it's better.
So we were gonna,
Which is ideal.
right, which we, Terry didn't want to have the responsibility of choosing what's on there and what's not on there. Eventually, it could potentially, we could put businesses on there if we wanted to do that and charge. We don't need, again, it's in its very early stages of thinking about the ideas and figuring out what would work.
Well, one of the key benefits is that if any email that would be supplied by an individual to the town would actually have to be part of our transparency obligations.
Right.
So you couldn't keep your email private if you're supplying it to the town for an official town mailing. So this way, we don't have to deal with that issue.
We're opting in, yeah, people can opt in, they can opt out, there'll be a web, hopefully, I believe that MailChimp has a web page that we would publish, and people could go in and self-register. Yeah, they would self-register, they would get the emails then, and again, we could talk about events at the mill, we could talk about town things, any events that were going on in town, and then send out this email that would have this information, and then they could also click on a link and go to the website. Karen could put that website on the Facebook site for Jamaica, and it just get more information out to people, because I think that's what people have been looking for.
That's what
So
they're looking for. It's
we're
not
willing to
just
volunteer.
Town governance information, they're looking for
All kinds of stuff.
Everything.
Yeah.
So it's independent of the town. We're still trying to work out how this would look, and she's actually, Jackie's out of town right now, so when she gets back, we're gonna sit down and look through the technology, and then she's gonna start working on the marketing piece.
I think it's wonderful, and obviously she can go do it on her own, but it would be great if she or you and her, a group came to us and proposed, and then we could endorse it.
That's fine, we can, once we get some more answers and some more things figured out, that definitely can happen. And then, of course, like I say, the goal is initially to reach out, obviously the town's part of it, but also to community organizations that would be interested, like Jamaica Community Arts or the Women's Auxiliary or something like that. Even the church potentially would have events and they want to put on there, Jamaica Old Home Day. I mean, all these people can put things out there. So just trying to get more information out to people.
The only thing, I'm telling what she said, the concern that I would have had before tonight, was that we make sure that it's not insulated from the town employees. So that the town clerk isn't doing that, because it becomes open office, as you said, open.
Right.
And then it just gets to be a nightmare. So if we can insulate the information, and especially the mailing list, from the town clerk and the treasurer, so that they're not involved with it. That would solve that problem.
The way that I envision this, it's a separate, it's her and I, and a separate organization, so to speak, handling this, of which the town would have access to, and we would hope that the town would support us in this endeavor and say, well, thank you.
The town being the select board? How's the select board tied into that?
I think only to you.
Where is it at all?
Probably not at all.
It may not at all.
That's all I want to know.
It's not at all, I mean, there's no, the responsibility.
endorse it.
No, I was just curious.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, so,
Yeah.
but just wanting to get you guys to say, yeah, that's a great idea, and we support it, that's all.
I think that meets the, what people were looking for. I mean, they weren't looking for us to send out necessarily more information. I mean, they can we do have to put some obligation on people to go find information. I mean, they go to the town website, and that's why it's important to have that be, easily functionable and all that kind of stuff.
And
There's a
maybe you
lot
could even
on
put a
the-
link on,
Yeah,
maybe put a link to that on the town website.
Right,
So that people
absolutely.
click on
Yeah.
the town
It's a
website, click
two-way
on it,
street.
and it would switch to the internet website, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, but just wanted to give everyone some information about what Jackie and I, and maybe Jackie's looking to do, and hopefully we can, we'll be starting in the next couple of weeks.
Good idea.
And maybe get something out, I wanted,
Yeah, it's
perhaps
clearly
in April or May.
the town's asking for it, we're just trying to figure out how to do it, so we don't make more problems than.
So what it takes though is for when people who want this information, they need to sign up, and we'll have sign up posters at the, maybe with little tags on it where they could go to a website, at the post office, at Karen's, at the town hall perhaps here, just so people have that, could get in and self-register.
Cool, thank you. So we'll wait to hear back more.
Okay, yeah.
I guess I forgot maybe where we left it with WordPress. You're gonna continue to research that a little bit to see if
I'm gonna
that's.
see if I can back it out, how easy it is to back out. It'd take me a couple hours to research it.
Yeah, okay.
Can I shoot you guys an email with that?
Yeah.
Because I may wanna act quicker than,
Yes.
Then
I
wait
wanna
to
get
hear.
moving.
Maybe we'll make a motion that, somebody makes a motion that we authorize Tom to move forward with updating the backbone of the website. if that wasn't
If,
already.
I make that motion. Second?
I'll second it because there's a conversation we need to have about that. When you do that, whatever we do email-wise amongst us, we can give out information, but we cannot have a discussion.
that's fine, I will give information of,
Yeah.
and if the information is I could not find an easy way to do this,
Yeah.
then I would say let's
Just-
put
I
it
just
on
wanna
the
make
next,
the caveat.
let's put it on the next agenda for the next meeting.
And that's why I made the motion
Because
to have authorized Tom to,
Right, and if I say, yes, this will work, I'm moving forward, then I'm moving forward, that's just informational, that's not a discussion.
all in favor of that motion, authorizing Tom to move forward in that.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Thank you.
Yeah, good.
Okay, next on the list, Chris, want to give an update on the broadband survey?
Thank you. Chris Robbins. As of March 6th, we had 61 responders to the survey. Of all but 3 of those indicated they were definitely interested or probably interested. There were 3 who were unsure. Nobody said no, so
That's good.
that's good. There were 414 cards mailed asking people to take the survey. So the threshold, the 20% they're looking for is 83 responders. So we have some 22 to go.
By when? Is it by?
Yeah, when is that? That's cut off.
It's the 17th.
17th.
But we should-
Tomorrow they're
A
due.
week, okay.
Yeah, and it's important.
Everybody's watching everybody.
Yeah, I'd like to make an appeal to anybody who's watching the video of this to, if you haven't taken the survey, please do, and please reach out to your friends and neighbors and ask them to take it. I can't think of anything.
Yeah,
More
more people, that's very easy, that's each one of us asking one more
If I can make
person.
a comment too, I think there was some concern with someone at the town meeting, I'm not sure what her name was concerned about, 5G and electromagnetic and all this. This is not anything to do with wireless. These will be fiber connections. Fiber is light that runs through these very thin strands of glass, and there's no electromagnetic implications of that. It has nothing to do with wireless or 5G or anything like that. So if town people are concerned about, I'm trying to escape all of this electromagnetic background noise, this will not create anything in the area for that. That's mainly created by wireless.
I missed that. I thought she was talking about information pollution.
She was talking
about just the
about
sex
like, yes,
operating.
is it creating some sort of electromagnetic, and it does not. Fiber is probably the most benign, because you're basically shooting light through glass. So,
Yes.
I took the survey on my desktop. What if there's another household member that has a phone? Does that count, or is it just per household?
It's
one
keyed
per
by
household.
a 911 address, so one per address. And I should have mentioned at the town meeting that, and it slipped my mind, but Sarah consolidated the list, so if there's more than one voter in the house, they only got one card.
Right.
But anybody in the household.
Either person or any person. in the
Any
house.
person can take
Once.
Once, yeah.
Okay.
However, if you own a business and have a business address,
That's kind of what I was.
Earl, there's two properties, there's like Peter Anders, he's got 6 properties, right?
you can then do your business. as-
Well, then she could then, she has.
Can you
I
do
have a business, I've got
Business in the house.
internet on my own,
Yes.
and then she has a business.
Well,
Yeah.
each 911 address can and should take the survey.
So if I have 2 addresses, one is a business and one is,
You can take two.
you can take 2.
Okay.
There was one more issue that I'd like to mention, that there was some talk at one of the training meetings about affordability for people that might not take the survey because they just were concerned that they couldn't afford it. And there was discussion for providing financial assistance, especially for parents of children that are receiving free or subsidized lunches, because this is so important for the kids.
Right.
And the answer from Wyndham Regional was, we're thinking about it. I mean, I'm paraphrasing, but that's basically what they said. I asked Sarah, Susan Westa, again, you know, did they have anything to say about financial assistance? And I haven't gotten an answer back. But when I do, I'll put it on the town's, on the Facebook page. And,
I'll bring it up at the next meeting, which is Thursday.
yeah, well, that would be very good.
And if you take the survey, doesn't mean that you have to subscribe.
No, it's not a commitment, and they worded the question, what do you think you should pay, as opposed to what will you pay to dance around this issue. So, by all means, take the survey, whether, you know, it's an affordability issue or not, because I'm pretty sure some kind of accommodation is gonna be made.
David, did you have a question or no? Okay. Oh,
I did, Greg. Regarding, I filled one out for the fire department, on behalf of the fire department, but the way that it was worded, it looked more like residential. So I did it on handwritten, and I gave it to Sherry over there. I just want to make sure you got it.
Yeah, I haven't, but I know where it is.
Where it is?
I'm gonna collect them before next Tuesday and get them, and then.
Okay.
So if the firehouse has a 911 address, I don't see why you can't take it.
And those paper forms are not included in the 22?
Yeah, they are.
They are already.
The first one, well, I only did one so far, but I did that anonymously pretty much. I never put a name down, just my street address.
They don't care what your name is, they wanna know what your address is.
Right.
Because it goes by resident, you know, physical locations.
Just so you know.
They're mapping the.
You're out of it now.
Anonymous.
Well, they, you know, they can look it up, but.
Right.
For those who are concerned, you don't have to put your name down, right?
And my sense
And,
is,
oh, it is confidential, it's only gonna be used for this project, it's not gonna be sold to any marketeer or anything like that.
Thank you, Chris.
Thank you.
Okay, next item that was added on here, the memorandum of understanding for the mill building. And I guess I brought that up just out of curiosity. We've been working, an independent group has been formed, working on the old town garage or the former mill building. And we've actually submitted our application, everything to the Secretary of State to form a nonprofit. And that's where, out of our last meeting, it came up, well, let's get the memorandum of understanding. And I realized I didn't have the most recent signed one because we were gonna address revising it to state that we weren't the mill committee anymore, that we were the Friends of the Mill at Jamaica, a 501(c) organization, and that's where this all came about. So that's, I don't know if there was questions regarding that, but that's kind of what where we're working toward. To be independently financed, seeking grants, things like that. The good news of the whole project is the project started today. They started putting the roof on, or at least tearing the old one off, nearly 2 years after the wind first tore it off. So that was insurance monies that was paid out. There's no town monies going into this, and our vision is to have a community center there, like a 3-season more or less. I don't know if that answers the question. I know there's some other, so that's kind of why we were trying to dig up that memorandum of understanding. Just make sure we had the most recent one, because we will come back to a future meeting to suggest changes.
I think the important thing that was covered in the previous meetings was to, again, insulate your project from the town finances. As long as it's clear that it's a self-financed thing, where you guys are doing it, I think we're all on board with the work you're doing.
Yep, and that was our mission, and that's one of the reasons why we had this memorandum drafted up from some other organizations around the state that are doing similar projects. So, yeah.
Excellent, thank you.
Dave?
Who carries the liability insurance on that, the town or that organization?
It would still be covered by the town as far as the physical property goes.
Yeah.
We are looking into covering the cost of liability, you know, if there's an event in there, things like that, someone breaks their foot and that kind of thing. So, and that was leading towards some of this revision, is that we may look into doing a lease for the bit that we would lease it from the town, so there's a little bit more formal structure. Just to define what the town's obligated for, basically just the physical property, and then all other actions and whatnot would fall back to our group.
Yeah, the work they're doing on it right now, it's covered by our liability.
Well, I remember I had some concerns about that, being mold and mildew and workers working in there. If any one of them contracted a lung disease, town would be liable for that for the rest of their lives.
And I did do some research with the Vermont League of Cities and Towns to make sure that they were covered through our insurance policy, so it didn't come directly to the town. Obviously, the town is self-insured through those policies, but that's really how all insurance works. So it's a member organization with every town being insured through there.
Are you talking about work, like the roofers?
No,
Okay.
the cleanup crew.
We had a volunteer crew in there one day.
Yeah, I mean, you have waivers or anything like that. And you assume some of the risk. I mean,
Right, and the roofers do have their own
Those are
coverage.
very,
That's
they're
part of the
very
reason why we
limited.
had to go
They
through the
don't,
contract.
waivers don't do the work. So,
Yeah, they can be eliminated in court.
no. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, any other discussion questions on that?
We actually agreed to do this back in November. Do we want to make a motion to do this new and just make sure it's all polished up the way you want it? Make a motion to have this signed by us tonight for you to go forward with, just to make it updated for you?
Well, I think we don't have it, this is not new. This
Correct.
is still the old one. I was suggesting that we would come back in the next month or so, a couple meetings, with a revised one. This one still
So-
holds
But
true.
if you don't have the signed copy of it, you need the signed copy of it to go forward with your,
They want to update the information on the MOU, and then we sign it.
I got that part just now, but I thought you said you were working on something that required you to have a copy of the MOU.
No, I was just looking to make sure I had the most recent one that we were gonna then make revisions off of.
Okay.
Yeah. Nope, don't
We
need
don't need to do anything right now.
Don't
This
need to do
information
anything
only,
right
yeah.
now, no.
Good.
Okay, time for public concerns, I think we went through it all. Any additions? Bob?
I got one, right? Bob Somsky, Fire Chief. After the last town meeting and stuff, there was a lot of people that couldn't attend the meeting and stuff, and they wanted to know if it'd be interest to the select board, if they would like to look into possibility of holding a meeting at night instead of mornings and stuff. I think you get your crowd, your after-work crowd, people that would come out and would definitely be interested in attending meetings, so figured I'd throw it out now, give you plenty of time to research it before the next.
Yeah, I mean, that's happened in other towns, I mean, there's always a debate of whether or not less people can come, because some people, I mean, there's pros and cons. I think what has to happen is that has to be warned for next year's town meeting,
Right.
and then approved to happen the following year's town meeting.
But we approved the time at the last meeting,
Right.
so we may have to go and somehow
Well,
have a special.
so it actually would be,
Change the time.
wouldn't be for, it would be 2 town meetings from now that it would actually
Right.
occur.
Unless we could somehow change next year.
Well, I think we'd have to have a
Okay.
special town meeting to
Yeah, for
vote
special
whether or
town
not
meeting
we
to
were gonna
change the time
have
for
to
the
change the
next
time, yeah.
The other piece I know people were talking about was childcare, and people who had, school-age children
At
are
least
out of
for
school, and
the
when you're
time
not,
Friday.
when you talk about preschool, grade school, they can't get to the meeting. So having some sort of childcare either at the
Right.
church or at the school, I think would be very beneficial to residents who could then.
The only thing I can think of right there, and this is, again, the people who are going to be at next March meeting will be the ones who can be there in the middle of the day on a Tuesday, as opposed to the ones who can't be there. So the ones voting are the ones who are already there, as opposed to the very population that you're trying to attack to get it to the people who can't get there to vote. So we're asking the people who made it
Yeah.
to vote about, oh, we can't make it, well, that's their problem.
Well, the other process is to go through an Australian ballot process, which
That-
then also takes lead time, but then everybody can vote.
Can't there also be a warned special meeting to do it?
There could be.
And can it always, also not necessarily evening, but also Saturday?
Saturday, a weekend.
Talking about,
Yeah.
so it's been thrown around
So-
on Facebook, I know after we had a lot of discussion about attendance and, And those were the concerns. People couldn't make it, people with school-aged children couldn't make it because they didn't want to bring their kids to town meeting when, they're just gonna be running around disrupting things. And the other people saying, I work. And if you can't get off of work, then you're not gonna be at town meeting. So I think that's something, you're right, that we need to address and figure out how we can make it more accessible to the town.
Instead of waiting 2 years.
But,
Yeah.
that would call a special meeting, and we have
Yeah,
about
special
a year
meeting,
to
then
do
you
it,
can
so.
change next year's meeting.
Yeah. But thanks, Bob, for bringing that up.
Yeah.
Anything else?
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you.